Hi, my name is Presvytera Kerri and I am a priest's wife and mother to 4 young children. I'm here in Thessaloniki, Greece. We moved to Greece in 2022, and it's been so interesting living in an Orthodox Christian country. With a new baby and up to a 7-year-old, I'm busy and we're all learning and figuring it out. Hi, good morning. My name is Presvytera Kerri, and I'm here on our balcony in Thessaloniki. I am a wife to a priest and a mother to 3 children. And though we all grew up in the States, we moved to Thessaloniki about a year ago. I currently have 3 boys, ages 6, almost 7, 5, and 3 today. And we are expecting number 4 within the next few weeks. So because of that, I have almost 7 years of cry room experience while attending church. I have spent my fair share of time walking back and forth in the narthex, heading out to the cry room, and of course that walk of shame of dragging a red-faced, screaming toddler down the aisles and out the back. We've taken adventurous walks to the drinking fountain when the wiggles became just too much, and I've watched in horror as my eldest son decided to join his father on the solea during the sermon while I was helpless with the baby in the back. More than once I've left a Sunday liturgy in tears. I felt like such an uphill battle to even get to church. By the time we got dressed and found all the shoes and got buckled in car seats and got to church on time-ish, and I don't necessarily think I'm alone in this. When we moved to Greece about a year ago, some of that anxiety came back. Now we're going to be in a foreign country, and I didn't know what the expectations of people would be for myself and for my children in church. Greece is an Orthodox country, meaning that the majority of the people here are Orthodox Christians. When you're walking around Thessaloniki, you are just as likely to find a church as you are to find a coffee shop. And if you know anything about Greece, there are a lot of coffee shops. Because of this, the parishes are usually quite full on Sundays. Every Sunday, not just on feast days. And I didn't know if this would make people stricter in regards to their expectations of children or just what to expect. One summer evening, a few months after we had arrived in Greece, we visited a small monastery in the city of Thessaloniki. We went for its feast day, for St. David of Thessaloniki, for Vespers. The church was small, and obviously there were a lot of people there for the feast, so plenty of people were outside instead of in the actual church. The weather was nice. It was a beautiful summer evening, and at the end of the service, the priest came outside to bless the artoglasia. During that time, my children started whispering and giggling, and I instinctively went to go shush them. Instead, I was intercepted by an older Greek woman who chastised me. "Παιδιά she said. "They're kids." This simple sentence has altered the way that I parent my children in church. Of course, I still work to instill reverence in them for the sacredness of the space and the sacraments performed there. But παιδιά they are kids. And they're young kids. There will be wiggles, there will be giggles, and there will be plenty of joy. And some whining. Sometimes a lot of whining. But also a lot of joy. Mistakenly in the States, I used to set goals for myself for each Sunday liturgy. Yes! We made it all the way to the gospel before we had to go into the cry room. Or on the flip side, if one of those small kid things happened, like a lost shoe or a blowout diaper, and we made it to church late or really late or not at all, I just already felt like I had failed at everything. But kids are kids, and young kids are young kids. Accepting for that, allowing for that, does not mean that they will never learn to sit still in church. Your expectations of your children and of yourself as a parent will change and evolve as they grow older. Now, I don't sweat it if we get to church a little bit late. And here in Greece, because the weather is usually mild, when the sermon starts, I just take my kids outside to play for those few minutes. If we find ourselves sitting in an area that isn't filled with too many people, I usually let my boys wander to an extent to check out some of the icons. Usually they come back with observations of things that I've never noticed before, which leads to even more learning and growing. Going with my kids to liturgy or any service has been a real joy in Thessaloniki. The church we attend is missing a beautifully stocked cry room with changing table and diapers and books and toys and colored pencils and whatever you could think of, but it's filled with people who understand that peviain, they're kids. These are people who will catch a running 2-year-old without a thought, who will lift a child to help them light a candle or kiss an icon. And they are people who will always let us go ahead in the communion line, especially if we seem extra wiggly that day. All of this is done in the framework of continuing to teach our little ones about our church, its saints, and of course the love of God. Now, it's important to note that I am by no way a spiritual guide, and I might not be doing any of this right. So please don't forget to seek advice from your own parish priest or spiritual father in regard to your decisions with your children in church. I'm just hoping that my experience can give you some hope and encouragement, and know that you're not alone. Goodbye from Thessaloniki.